President Donald Trump has signed a new executive order that eases certain federal restrictions on marijuana, marking a significant shift in U.S. cannabis policy and reopening debate around drug reform, states' rights, and federal law. The order directs federal agencies to review existing marijuana regulations and reduce enforcement in specific areas, particularly where cannabis use is already legal under state law. While the executive order does not fully legalize marijuana nationwide, it signals a softer federal stance and could have wide-ranging implications for millions of Americans. According to officials familiar with the decision, the order focuses on reducing penalties for low-level marijuana offenses, easing restrictions on medical cannabis research, and allowing states greater flexibility to manage their own marijuana laws without federal interference. For years, marijuana has remained illegal under federal law, even as more than half of U.S. states have legalized it for medical or recreational use. This legal conflict has caused confusion for businesses, patients, banks, and law enforcement agencies across the country. The new order instructs the Department of Justice and other federal agencies to deprioritize enforcement actions against individuals and businesses operating legally under state marijuana laws. It also encourages expanded research into medical cannabis, an area long criticized for being overly restricted. Supporters of the move say the order reflects changing public attitudes toward marijuana. Polls consistently show that a majority of Americans now support legalization or decriminalization, particularly for medical use. Medical professionals and patient advocacy groups have welcomed the decision, saying it could improve access to treatment for conditions such as chronic pain, epilepsy, and PTSD. Researchers also believe it may speed up scientific studies into the benefits and risks of cannabis. However, critics argue the executive order does not go far enough. Some lawmakers and reform advocates say true reform will require congressional action to remove marijuana from the federal list of controlled substances entirely. Others, including some law enforcement groups, have raised concerns about public safety, impaired driving, and youth access. They warn that easing restrictions without comprehensive federal guidelines could create enforcement gaps and unintended consequences. The cannabis industry reacted positively, with several marijuana-related stocks seeing early gains following news of the order. Business leaders say reduced federal pressure could improve banking access and investment opportunities in legal cannabis markets. Politically, the move is being viewed as a strategic decision during an election season where younger voters and independent voters often prioritize criminal justice reform and personal freedom issues. White House officials emphasize that the order respects states' rights while maintaining federal oversight where necessary. They also stated that the administration will continue to evaluate marijuana policy based on scientific evidence and public safety concerns. In summary, President Trump's executive order represents a notable shift in federal marijuana enforcement, easing restrictions but stopping short of full legalization. The long-term impact will depend on how federal agencies implement the order and whether Congress follows with legislative action. As the national conversation around cannabis continues to evolve, this decision marks another step in the changing landscape of U.S. drug policy. This is U.S. Guru News, bringing you clear, factual updates on major developments shaping America and the world.